What's good? This is Trey, and the topic of this presentation is my secret that led to inevitable success with women. Right? So, if you know anything about my story, you know that I was not naturally successful with women. Growing up, I wasn't able to relate to girls properly. You know, when I look back at middle school and high school, all I remember is dropping the ball left and right. You know, I remember girls showing interest, and even sometimes in a very direct manner. And I did not have the confidence or the self-esteem to, basically express myself and let these girls know that I was into them, right? Like, even the ones that were showing interest, I still didn't have the confidence to let them know, look, I actually like you too, and this, I would kind of just try to play it cool. And the girl, now that I understand, you know, female psychology and understand what's going on now, it's like, if a girl is showing you interest and you don't make any move to move the relationship forward, you can only expect her to at some point lose interest. And that's exactly what happened, right? So I would drop the ball left and right when, in middle school and high school when it came to girls. And then the ones who I did like, who weren't showing interest, who did not show interest, there was no way in hell I was going to go up to them and tell them I like them or whatever. Because like I said, I didn't have that kind of confidence or that self-esteem to do that, right? But now I am successful with women. Now I do have the confidence to go up to women and tell them I'm interested. Now I can express myself. Now I can go out and meet women, no problem, right? But how did I make this transformation? Like before, like literally there was a point in my life where I couldn't I couldn't get a date to save my life. I left high school without having my first kiss, without ever having a girlfriend, and I never lost my virginity. Like, I still had my virginity. So I left high school literally with no experience with girls, right? So I went out into the world. You leave high school, now it's time to go to college and stuff like that. And I'm literally going out into the world with no experience in regards to females. But as I said, I was able to make a 180. I was able to transform my life. And so when I look back at it, it's like, okay, how was I able to do that? And I reverse engineered it, and I said, okay, the first thing was I made up my mind. I set a goal. I said, look, I want to get a girlfriend. I want to have a girlfriend. I want to experience what it's like to have a romantic relationship with the opposite sex, right? It's not happening for me naturally, but I want it to happen. I want to make it happen. So I made that goal. I set that goal. Even though everything in middle school and high school was basically telling me that, it probably might not happen. It kind of was going in a direction like I was going to be lonely for most of my life. Like, that's how it was starting to look. But I decided, I was like, nah, forget that. Like, I want to experience what it's like to have a girlfriend. So that was a goal that I set. And instead of waiting around hoping for it to happen, I started going out to meet girls, to go and meet strangers, right? Go and talk to random girls that I do not know. It's called cold approach pickup. It's going out and meeting people, and they don't know who the hell you are, but you're going up and you're basically trying to communicate in a way where this person now is interested in you. And to start off as somebody who was, hopeless with women and very shy and very introverted and all of that, it was very tough, going up to random girls that I don't know and trying to express myself, having not been able to express myself for, throughout the whole middle school and high school. That's a good amount of years. What, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7 years of not being able to express myself to girls. And then now it's like, okay, now I'm coming out trying to do it. But I had that goal. And one thing I can say, man, is I walked into the unknown, right? I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Like, okay, you know what? I'm setting this goal, and I'm gonna go out and start talking to girls and start meeting girls. And I went out, and as you could expect, getting some rejections. Girls saying, "Oh, no, thank you. No, I have a boyfriend. No, I'm not interested. Excuse me, do I know you?" Some of them were nice about it. They were like, "Oh, no, I appreciate it," or "That's really sweet, but, I'm not interested," or whatever, right? It's getting a lot of that. But I knew my goal. I knew what I wanted. So despite that, I kept going out. I kept approaching women. And then, the reaction started getting better. I started to get, have like little conversations that would be really good conversations. I'd connect with some girls a little bit. I'd start to, get some phone numbers. You know what I mean? And, the phone numbers didn't lead anywhere, but, I saw progress. I started to get some phone numbers. Then after a while, I finally got a date, right? That date was super awkward, but, it was my first date, you know what I mean? Coming from, like I said, not really having any results pretty much in middle school and high school, and then finally getting your first date. That's amazing. That was amazing for me. And then, I kept going. I got, started getting more numbers, started going a couple more dates. Dates was still a little awkward, but I was working on it. And, what was I doing? I was committed to my goal. I was disciplined. I was consistent. I was leading in the sense that I knew my goal, and I was walking into the unknown. I was stepping outside of my comfort zone over and over and over again. It's like I was telling the universe how bad I wanted to reach my goal. I was telling the universe, like, not verbally, but just through my actions, like, I really want to manifest a different condition in life. I do not want to be this guy who can't express himself, who can't communicate to women, who can't connect with others. I was kind of awkward with guys too. I was a lot better with guys than women, but even some guys I was kind of awkward with. But I just kept going. And man, looking back, it's like I was committed, man. I was committed to my goal. I wouldn't let anything stop me. I wouldn't let nobody stop me, not even myself. A lot of times, it's ourselves. It's our limiting beliefs. It's our old identity. It's our past that holds us back. And I faced all of that. I faced all my issues. I faced, my fear of rejection. I faced my fear of expressing myself, my fear of being judged. I faced it all. I faced my limiting beliefs, some of the beliefs I had from my religion, about what I could, about what I can and can't do, about how I'm a sinner, this, and if I do this, I'm going to hell, and this and that. I challenged all my beliefs, and I overcame them, right? And that's what I'm looking back, and I'm like, man, like, I really put in that work. And like, that's what makes you feel worthy. It makes you feel confident. It makes you feel like I am the man, because when you know that you put in the work, when you know that you set a goal that was far off in the distance, but you still set that goal and you walked into the unknown and kept moving through the unknown until you hit that goal. When you hit that goal, now you feel like the shit, and you should feel like the shit because you paid your dues. You did not get lucky. And that's my situation. I did not get lucky. I actually went through, I feel like I walked through hell to get to the point that I'm at right now. And so it's like I didn't know this, but at the time, it's like my success was inevitable. Of course I was going to be successful with women because I was doing everything necessary, even when the doors were being shut on me, even when I was getting rejected, even when the phone numbers wouldn't go anywhere, even when the dates were awkward and the girls wouldn't want to speak to me after the dates, even when I went in for the kiss and the girl didn't want it. All these different things that happened, but I kept going. I kept pushing. I kept, and I wasn't like dumb about it. When I made a mistake, I would say, okay, let's not make that mistake again. I learned from my mistakes. I would, talk to other people that were on a similar journey. I would read books, You know what I mean? I would put myself in these situations that when I was an introvert and I was putting myself in these extroverted situations where you were forced to be extroverted. You know, I was expanding my social freedom. You know what I mean? Working on my communication skills, working on my ability to put myself out there and lead from the front. So it's stuff like that that, you know, makes your success inevitable. When you come to this place where you're 100% committed to your goal, when you're 110% leading, right? You gotta lead. You have to step out in the front, put your chest out, put your face in front of the enemy, in front of hell, and walk straight in, right? And that's where you get the power, because it's like, it's not like somebody's making you do this shit. You making yourself do this shit. You the one who's saying, I'm gonna walk through hell. I'm gonna go through the walk through this dark path. I'm gonna you know, overcome this challenge because I know what my goal is, and I will not settle. I will not settle. I will not make excuses, right? I know exactly what I want, and I'm going for it in this, and that's just the end of it, right? Nothing more needs to be said about it, right? So a lot of action. I took a lot of action. There was a lot of belief. There was a lot of falling on my face and getting back up. But I never stayed on the floor, you know? I never laid down and surrendered, right? I kept pushing. So 110% commitment. Like, let me break it down. Like, the reason I was inevitably successful with women is I was 110% committed to a goal, a specific goal. I wanted a girlfriend. It turned into something bigger, but the first goal I had was I wanted a girlfriend, right? Left high school and never had my first kiss, never had a girlfriend. I said, no, fuck that. I want a girlfriend. That was the first thing. And then I decided to lead. I didn't wait for somebody to come and save me. I didn't wait for one of my boys to start doing some shit and I started doing it. I started making my own moves. I started doing, like, nobody was really into it. I had to get my friends to come out and talk to girls and stuff. But at first it was just me doing it. And even like when I get my friends to come, they wouldn't stick around for the most part. Like, a lot of them like dipped off and was like, nah, bro, we don't need to do this. Like, we'll just get girls through our social circle or through the dating app or whatever. But nobody was trying to go out and approach women like how I was, right? You know, at some point I did find some wingmen and that was great. But for the most part, I was doing this shit on my own. You know what I mean? But I was 110% committed. And that's how it has to be. You have to know exactly what you want. You have to go after 110%. You have to lead. Don't wait for anybody. You have to lead. You have to step out in front and lead and show people that you're not a joke. You know, you're not playing around. You're really going after something. You really know what you want, and you go, right? And stop inhibiting yourself. Stop inhibiting your communication. Stop holding back your personality, your character, and who you are. Let it out. Let it shine. Let it be. Let your voice be heard. You know? Express yourself. Now, another thing I had to accept was female psychology or female nature. You know, the truth about females, right? You gotta know some shit about females if you wanna have success with them. First thing is, you know, listen to what they say, but know that it's more about what they do. Pay attention to what a woman does. Like, listen to what she says, yeah, but pay attention to what she does and put more importance on what she does. That's actually with men too, but it's definitely with women, because women will say one thing and do something else. They will do it, right? That's just what it is. But you have to be aware of this. Like, okay, I understand female nature, and I'm not going to deviate from my understanding. My understanding is my understanding, and I'm gonna just stay on it. And you will, you know what I mean? You'll be on your path to success once you start accepting the truth, right? So that's one thing we mentioned, you know? She's also, you know, you gotta understand, these women are going for the best guy they can get. So you had to take responsibility and say, okay, if they're going for the best guy they can get, how can I be the best guy she can get? How can I present myself as a candidate or as somebody who she could look at and be like, nah, I want him. Like, you want, when you step up and you interacting with a woman, she's thinking about all these dudes that's hitting her up and shit, and you want her to look at you and be like, no, that's the one. I want him. That is, you have to understand that. It's not about, oh, just love me for me and this and that. Like, yeah, you want her to love you for you, but best believe you better be great. You better have something to bring to the table. Like, when I was, those girls were rejecting me and shit like that, is because my best self didn't arrive yet. That was a very weak version of myself. It was a very limited version of myself, inhibited version of myself. When the powerful version of myself showed up, that's when the results started coming. And it makes sense because I started beating out the competition. I came through with more character. I was realer than a lot of the other guys they were dealing with, right? So she's like, no, I want the real thing. I don't want these dudes that are fronting, that are lying to me, that are trying to say this and that just to get my pants. You know, that's one thing that I could say is, like, I never really went the route of trying to lie to women to get them, right? Or trying to say the perfect thing or do the... No, my thing was, I guess you could just say I just had the intelligence to know this. Like, I knew that me as a being, I knew I was good enough, but there was just something that I needed to unlock, right? And it was my confidence. I needed to unlock my confidence. I needed to unlock my personality. I needed to express myself more. And so I started doing that, right? Another thing you need to understand about female psychology, that if you want the frame to be proper, you as the man have to lead. You have to lead, not just lead a little bit. You have to lead 110%. 110%. You have to lead consciously. You can't wait for the woman to give you permission to lead. You have to make moves, right? Especially if she's showing interest. If she shows a little interest, make the move. Don't wait for her, right? If you have a abundance and you have a lot of girls you're dealing with, that's different, right? You can't make the move on every single girl. But I'm saying, like, you know, it's a girl that you like and she's showing a little interest, and then you just whatever, you're not really doing nothing. Because that's what I used to do. And it's like, the girl, she wants to be submissive and feminine around a man, a strong man, a man that's emotionally strong, that's strong in his intelligence and intellect, and his ability to apply his intelligence over his emotions. Yes, you know, if you could demonstrate that you're strong physically, that's great too. That's not as necessary nowadays as it may have been back in the caveman days, but that's great to have too. But a lot of it is emotional strength, you know, emotional strength and also intelligence. You know what I mean? And then, you know, social skills, like being able to socialize and you know, communicate to her in a way where she's turned on. You know what I mean? Where she's feeling attraction. You know, if you're shy and you can't communicate and you can't express yourself, how the hell you think she's supposed to like understand you or get any feeling from you? It's like you have to communicate to her somehow, right? So you got to work on your body language. You got to work on kino is like basically your ability to touch her, like how you touch her. You know what I mean? You got to work on eye contact. You got to be able to look a woman in the eye, right? And hold eye contact. You got to be able to learn how to breathe. You know, some people ain't breathing properly. Like, learn how to breathe. Do some meditation. Whatever you got to do to get yourself right, to get your best self to come out. Because that's how you make your successful women inevitable. You set a goal and you go towards your goal 110%, and you lead from the front, and you stop inhibiting your communication. You let your personality out. You start expressing yourself. You start being exactly how you want to be. You start giving a fuck about people's opinions. And you got to understand female psychology and understand female nature, and stop accepting the bullshit lies that society has given us on how you're supposed to treat a woman and how you're supposed to, what they're attracted to and how you're supposed to be. It's all a bunch of baloney, man. It's all a joke. Like, you got to go and find the truth. And the truth, they said the truth hurts, right? The truth hurts, but the truth shall set you free. That's true as hell. The truth shall set you free. Once you know the truth, then nobody can feed you no more lies, right? And so you gotta go and get the truth of female nature. Because the thing is, you gotta know what moves to make. You know, when a woman says one thing or she does a certain thing, if you don't understand female nature, you're gonna make the wrong move, and she gonna start, acting different or whatever. You're not gonna know why, right? But a lot of the reason why my dating life issues have went away is because I understand the female. I understand her behavior. I understand when she says certain things. I understand when she does certain things, why that's happening. I understand. I get it. So I make the right move. And I know if some shit don't work out, it's more about, she wasn't the right woman for me. Because if I'm making all the right moves and it didn't work out, I can't be like, oh, my game sucks or this sucks. No, it just wasn't the right woman for me, or maybe the right timing. Like there's women that I've met, I ain't get with them right away, but maybe when the time was right, then it started, things started to work out. You know what I mean? You got to have patience too. The Stoic philosophy, the reason I like the Stoic philosophy, because it talks a lot about that. It talks about being patient. It talks about applying intelligence over emotions. It talks about stepping back and seeing things for how they really are. You know what I mean? It talks about going for the truth. It talks about being courageous and having principles and values and not breaking your code. You know what I mean? You don't need to be going around like trying to figure out like a loophole or like a shady tactic to get women. It's like I said, the secret to inevitable successful women. I'm sharing my secret. Basically, what I'm sharing is exactly how I got women. You know what I mean? How I got to the point where I was able to get women. But I'm telling you, it wasn't always like that. Not even close, right? I was putting up a front, A lot of times I make it seem like I was getting girls, but I wasn't. You know what I mean? But I handled that part of my life. And you as a man, you can handle that part of your life too. You just gotta make the decision. So let me run it back one more time. Set a goal. Set a goal exactly what you want in regards to your dating life. If you want a girlfriend, set that goal. If you want a rotation, set that goal. If you want a threesome, set that goal. Whatever your goal is, set the goal. And then you start moving towards the goal and you start leading. You start going 110%. You start doing the things you're afraid to do. As I said, I had to step out my comfort zone. I had to walk through hell to get to my goal. But I'm telling you, that's how you get the power. That's how you get to a point where nobody can't tell you shit. You know what I mean? Because you paid your dues, because you know what I mean? You put the work in. So somebody try to come and tell you something, you ain't listening to what they got to say, because you know what you went through to get to where you're at. It's not like you just read a book. You should read books, by the way, and you should study and all that stuff, but you should also be applying what you learned, applying it more than you're reading. More application than information, right? Like, focus more on application, because you'll learn from the application. You'll get the information through the application, but you should be smart. There's people that came before you that have went through similar situations. You can learn from them, right? But you still have to go and get your own experience. All right? So set a goal, go after 110%, lead. Don't wait for nobody to come and save you. You lead, you be your own your own Hercules, your own Superman, your own Batman, your own whatever. You be the guy who's saving the day. Stop inhibiting your communication. Start expressing yourself freely and developing character and developing your ability to express your personality, right? And understand female psychology. Like, do your research. You know what I mean? Read whatever you need to read. I read The Mystery Method. I read these books. What's the book? Mating Mind. Red Queen. These books that when they go into like the science and the biology behind, sexual behavior, like stuff like that. You got to read that shit so you know what's going on. You know what I mean? So you can see what's going on below the surface. You have the fronting behavior that everybody's putting on, and when you understand what's going on below the surface, when somebody says something, you know what they're really saying. When somebody does something, you know what they're really doing. So you just watch them and you like, oh, okay, you think I don't know what's going on here. Like, whether it's a female or a male, you know what I mean? But and you ain't got to tell them that you know. You just know. And so you start moving a certain way. They don't know why you're doing that. It's because you know what's going on. You're 2 steps ahead of them. Right? So that's the advice. If you are a man, right, And if you relate into this, like you feel like you're in a place where you want to transform your dating life, you want to do something about it, go ahead and send me a private message and I'll help you. Like straight up. I'll show you what you need to do, right? I'll give you some guidance, right? I'll give you some steps that you can take to start moving towards your dating goals. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace.